Hello, so this video is going to show how to work in the 1910 census spreadsheet from an iPad. So you're going to need two different apps, and trust me, you're give yourself the frustration and use Google Sheets, the actual app for Google Sheets, and then your favorite browser, whether that's DuckDuckGo, Chrome, Safari, what have you. Google Sheets is the only thing that you're going to want to use for the actual spreadsheet. Then the family search part of it is whatever browser you'd like to work with. So let me show you how to set your browser as the default, just in case that's an option. If you are newly installing DuckDuckGo, I know that's a main issue for lots of privacy concerns. So you are going to scroll to your settings, and you are going to scroll down on the left-hand side and find your application. So here's the DuckDuckGo app. We're going to click it, and here we see the default browser app. And I already selected it as DuckDuckGo, but you can toggle it to Safari or Chrome or whatever other browser that you might have listed. So we're just going to hit the home button, go back to the home screen, and get started. So again, you're going to want to open up Google Sheets. And for this, I played around a lot with it this morning, and I have a lot of issues and complaints with Google Sheets, but regardless, this is the easiest way that I found to do it. And you're going to want to go into the actual state sheet. So here we see the second option here is tree coverage stats by state. That's the one where all of the states are listed and you can go to them. But I find that one doesn't necessarily work, because anytime you open a link in it, it goes into a browser. It won't stay in Google Sheets. And where we want to stay in Google Sheets with the Alabama or whatever state you're working on at the time, here we're working in Alabama, you'll want to go to the actual state spreadsheet direct off the bat. So if you need one of those links to a specific sheet, let me know, and I'll get that sent over to you. If you do have access to a computer, that would be one thing to go and do really quick, is go open the state-by-state spreadsheet and click on the states that you want to open up, and then they'll pop up here on your iPad ready to go and click. Hopefully that wasn't confusing. I explained that like a dirty mess. Okay, so anyway, click on Alabama, and here we have the main spreadsheet. It will open up by default to wherever you left off. I'm going to actually scroll down so that I am not next to anybody here and we won't be interrupted. All right, so in column D, that is the volunteer column. If you were at the very top of the spreadsheet, it would say volunteer. But anyway, column D is where you are going to type your name in. I'm going to type iPad next to mine so that I know for future reference which ones I did with the iPad and which ones I didn't. All right, so on an iPad, you're probably already familiar with how spreadsheets work and selection tools, but just in case, that anytime that I select any different cell, it highlights with that blue bounding box, right? And so there's a dot in the upper left and the bottom right corner. I am going to make sure that my name is selected there and click on the bottom right dot and drag it down, and then release my finger. And then I'm going to tap once somewhere inside that blue bounding box and click autofill, and that will reserve my batch for me. Then I am going to tap on the very first link in column D, right next to the name that I clicked on there. So you'll see, notice the very bottom of my screen as I click around. The very bottom section there is the formula or the text that's within any cell that I click on. So when I click on that, it's going to open the link down there. I'm not going to click up in the actual body, but I'm going to go down to the very bottom and click on that link. And it will open up into whatever browser is my default browser. And then you're just going to sign in with Family Search. And here we have SourceLinker. So notice that we are in a new program. In the very, very upper left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see an arrow that goes back to Sheets. If you ever want to go back to the spreadsheet, you can click on that button. So I'm just going to reopen that tab back. We are now in our browser, which is currently set at DuckDuckGo. And here is Family Search's website, and we're looking at SourceLinker. So we are going to compare these names and see if these are indeed a match. On the left-hand side, we see that this is the 1910 census. And on the right-hand side, we'll see that this is Family Tree. If you need any help with SourceLinker, or if you're really unfamiliar with what you're doing, I have a list of videos that will help you get used to SourceLinker and what this screen looks like and what it can do. It is based on a computer, but it'll be almost the exact same for the iPad. You're just using a finger instead of your mouse. All right, so having said that, if any of the jargon that I'm using is unfamiliar with you, you'll want to go back and watch those videos. So our job is to compare these names and see if this is a match. We see that Richard A. Ray on the right-hand side is being matched with a Richard S. Ray. We don't have any dates or places to match him with, so we're going to keep on going and see if there's anything else that will clue us in that this might be the right family. We have Annie L. Ray on the left, Ellis on the right, which would just be a maiden name versus married name issue. So that's our first clue that this might be the right family. And we're going to open up the details for Harry down here. We have Harry G. So again, the Annie and Harry both match their names exactly. And Harry matches the date, 1909 to 1909. That looks like it's a possible good match. So where there's no details, names and let's see, any place names or further dates, I am not 100% sure that this is the right family. So I am going to go into Harry's, and I'm going to click on his name once, and it's going to pop up with this little name card here. I'm going to click on his name one more time, and that will open up. This is in the same tab. That's why I like working on the computer. By default, it'll just open up in a new tab. But anyway, we are going to want to investigate him. Let's see what sources he has. So this source here is a marriage event, and it lists his parents, Richard and Annie. His spouse is Josie Lee Ford. They were married in, okay, so they're married in 1938. So obviously the spouse isn't going to be listed on the 1910 census. But let's go and see if we can find any other sources that help us determine that this might be the right person. Let's show all for the blue record hints. And we just don't have a lot to go on. So let's go back and look at Harry and see if he's got anything. So let's go look at Richard A. Ray and see if there is any more information that we might be able to find on him. We see lots of different research helps up here. Let's click on show all and see if any of these will give us more information, like names, place names or dates or anything of the sort. All right, so come to find out, that first one is a little bit more of a difficult one, and I will cover that in a separate video on my desktop because it's just a little bit cumbersome to work on the iPad. So I am going to put a 0 for now, that one is not done and I need to come back to it. So the second one, let's go ahead and click on the second line there, open it up in a new tab and see if we can compare this one. All right, as we open up the details of these people, let's look at names and dates. So Anne M. Stewart versus Arnold. It's just a married name versus maiden name issue there. Born in 1838 in New York. And so we are in Alabama. So the fact that there's an Anne M. Stewart with the same year in a different state and the states match, that raises my confidence level pretty high. And so let's look down. There's only 2 people in this census right here, her and her son. Her son, Orlando versus Alondo. Pretty good match. And so I'm still pretty confident here. And we look at his birth date, 1866, 1864. That's a pretty decent match. And that the birth is in Ohio on both of them. Really makes me think that this is an excellent match. And again, look at the birth on the right is a range from 1864 to 1865. You know, it's still a pretty good match for 1866 because on the left-hand side, the 1910 census was asking their age. So had they had their birthday yet that year or what? But the fact that, or the odds that there is a 2-person family living in Alabama and the dates match and one is correctly born in New York, the other correctly born in Ohio, and with pretty unique names, I would say my confidence level is at 100%. This is the right family. So I am going to click compare and we're going to add in any of the blue information over. We're going to click add and attach. No reason to add a reason statement on this one since everything is a match. All right, so look at the top of your screen and you're going to see different tabs across the top possibly. So this tab right here, I'm only going to click on the X of it. So hopefully you can see where my finger taps that and it closes it out. I'm going to hit the home or double tap the home button on my iPad itself and go back to Google Sheets. And I'm going to enter a 1 next to that record there. And then I'm going to click on the next one and let's open it up. All right, this looks like a great one to do. So let me show you one other nuance that you can do on your iPad. At the very, very top of your screen, in the direct middle, there's going to be 3 little dots there. I I'm hoping it's on every iPad. Maybe you might have to update your software if you don't see those 3 dots. But here's a handy feature. You'll click on those 3 dots, and I like to click on the middle one. So it's going to be a split screen. And so I am going to select Google Sheets as my other window. Now you'll see that both sides of the screen have that triple dot next to them, right? You can click on one of those triple dots and move it so that if you have a preference, what you want to be on the left-hand side versus what you want on the right-hand side. This is my familiar setup that I like to do. I like to have the links that I'm opening here on the left and SourceLinker here on the right. But there is one caveat, one major downside that I really wish Family Search would fix. As you can see in the right-hand column of the right side of my screen, the names are no longer hyperlinks. I can no longer click on those easily and open them up to do more research on them. This is on all mobile devices. When your screen gets small, that hyperlink functionality disappears. So if you want that hyperlink functionality back, you can exit out of the split screen view and regain that. You may have to reload your page. We'll do that here in a second after we're done attaching this. So we are on the 3rd line in the spreadsheet, comparing these across. So we're opening up the details and comparing them. Again, we are working in Alabama. And here we see that Mary Piper, 1844, 1847, decent match, but they're both born in Georgia, so that raises my confidence level. Then we have a very unique name for Asa Mac or Mark Piper, and 49, 47, that's pretty decent. The birth places do not match, which throws a red flag on it, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Let's keep looking. We have Edward R. Piper and Edward Rosser Piper, and the dates are pretty dang close, and they're both born in Alabama. So this helps raise my confidence level in it. But let's take a look at this other person and just kind of check really quick. So if we go up to the top and click on record underneath where it says United States Census 1910, I'm going to click on that record button and see what the relationship is. Mary Piper is a mother to the head, which is Edward. So, oh, why did it? Yeah. All right, so that Albertina is a wife to the head, which is Edward here in this household. So on our SourceLinker, we've seen that it was Mary and Asa that were in the focus person position. And down below that, Edward and Albertina are husband and wife. So let's actually change the focus person on the left-hand side to be Edward. And see if, yes, we have a match. All right, so once we changed Edward to be directly under that blue bar right there, that is making him the focus person, which will bring up his spouse. And his spouse in Family Search on the right-hand side is Carrie Albertina Woods. And she is born 1886. Let's open up her details. Alabama. So it looks like all of the dates are just a little bit off in this census versus what's already in the tree. But what are the odds that there is an Asa Mac, a Mary Ann, Edward Rosser, and Carrie Albertina in Alabama at the same time with all of these same relationships? My confidence level is at 100%. We have found the right family. So I am going to go ahead and add this information in. Okay, so here's one of the things. When you resize your window, where we shrunk it down so it's only on the left-hand side here, we should have refreshed the page, because you'll see that there is not a add button next to this blue highlighted section here. So I'm going to go to the very top, refresh my page, and do it again. All right, here we have ASA, and now we have that blue plus mark. It's that add button. We're going to go ahead and attach. This is why mobile is not my favorite, but it is doable. We can always work around something and work on this project. But it is very much more handy with less glitches on a desktop PC or Mac. All right, so there we go. Now, let me show you how, well, okay, back over here in the screen, we want to make sure to put our 1 in that column so that we know that that's done. Now, I want to show you how to show again. So in the very middle of your screen, there is a black vertical bar with that little gray handle on it. You're going to click on that handle and drag to the left until DuckDuckGo is your full screen. And then you can refresh the page and you'll notice that that hyperlink is back, that you can now click on that family member and open them up and do more research if you needed to go in and look at them in further detail. So let me do that again, where at the very top of my screen, those 3 little dots, I click on that and I want to do a split screen. I choose Google Sheets and have those side by side. You'll see that that hyperlink function has disappeared, but I can get it back by making DuckDuckGo full screen and refreshing the page. All right, hopefully that answers any and all questions. If you have more, let me know. It's kind of like I'm using Family Search with my non-dominant left hand, which is a little bit awkward. That's what the iPad is for me, and I'm sure you're going to be much better and have smooth sailing. But if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to help you out. All right, have a great day.